tornado warning for you folks in and around Altus in southwestern Oklahoma. Let's quickly go to radar.
TV9's Gary England is a native Oklahoman. He's seen the effects severe weather can have on people and property. Since 1972, Gary has been TV9's chief meteorologist and has built a strong reputation.
Tornado 20, go, quick, round 1.
His knowledge, experience, and reliability make him not only Oklahoma's #1 meteorologist, but the 3rd most popular meteorologist in America. Author of 3 books on Oklahoma's severe weather, Oklahomans have learned to depend on Gary as the weather authority.
Our Doppler TV9 continues to show a circulation, so let's go to radar.
Gary England, Alan Mitchell, and Gary Lezak, Oklahoma's only team of 3 meteorologists, combined with the nation's most sophisticated Doppler radar, make TV9 the strongest team of weather professionals in Oklahoma. You can't afford to trust your life to anyone else, because when Gary knows, you'll be the first to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary England and those terrible twisters.
Hi, I'm Gary England. Welcome to our half-hour version of those terrible twisters. You know, we've traveled around the state this year sharing our program with over 20,000 people in 6 cities: Weatherford, Shawnee, Yukon, Ardmore, Elk City, and of course, Oklahoma City. And you know, we've enjoyed each city and their wonderful hospitality. And you know, we do the Terrible Twisters show to educate you on just how dangerous tornadoes can be, and of course to make sure you know what to do in case one comes down your street. So let's take a look at some of these extremely dangerous storms. Okay, let's look at this monster. It's about 1/4 mile wide, winds around 200 miles per hour. Now, most tornadoes in Oklahoma come from the southwest and west. But keep in mind, they have come from all directions, all times of the day or night, and all times of the year. Look at this one. This is Union City. This is as strong as they get. It's about 1/4 mile wide, 250 to 300 miles per hour. This is an F5. If this passes over your house, all that's left is the foundation. It shears off the pipes and the walls. This type of tornado, you just about have to be below ground level. This one's down near Shawnee, not too big. And to make a point on this one, you'll notice a good part of the time you don't see a funnel. You don't have to see a funnel to have a tornado. Whether you see a funnel or not depends on the moisture content of the air, the temperature of the air, and the pressure drop near the funnel. So the tornado is defined as a twisting wind on the ground. By the way, those are pieces of houses up in the air there. Okay, this particular storm moving from your left to your right, there'll be a series of these. It's already rained, it's already hailed, then comes the large tornado, usually. There's a large tornado extending from a large wall cloud. Sequence is, storm comes up, looks terrible, wind blows, rains, hails. Usually it stops raining, usually it stops hailing. Look at this one, over 1 mile wide, Binger, Oklahoma. 1.1 mile wide, winds about 250, maybe even stronger. An extremely severe storm. It came up over parts of the metropolitan area in the air and finally dissipated. This is multiple vortex. You're in the sunshine. You want to see a tornado? Stay in the sunshine. And this one, the entire wall cloud is about to come to the ground. And look at this one. No funnel all the way to the ground, but there's a definite connection. Look at this monster. Tornadoes rotate. The big ones rotate from the ground up through the thunderstorm, sometimes to the top of the thunderstorm, 40 or 50,000 feet. They are a part of the thunderstorm. They normally move with the thunderstorm. They normally form inside the thunderstorm around 15 to 20,000 feet. Look at this, Dallas, Texas. Not too much we can say about this. This is a relatively small tornado, but you can see very, very devastating. The wind flows into the tornado, miles around, goes up. If the funnel passes directly over you on a large tornado, you could go upward at around 100 to 200 miles per hour. Most tornadoes in Oklahoma don't do too much. Most of them not too strong. Only 2% of the tornadoes in Oklahoma are the great big ones that are extremely deadly. Look at this. Those were some big-time tornadoes. The audio you heard was the actual recording of tornadoes on the ground, so the sound you heard was real. Now, you might keep in mind most tornadoes in Oklahoma, not too big, but they do get up to 2 miles wide. They average moving down the road about 30, 35 miles per hour, but occasionally they move up to 70 miles an hour straight ahead. I'll be back with more after this.
Like most people, you probably need insurance protection for your car. And protection for your home and for your family's future, too. Fortunately, there's one agent who can help you protect all the things that mean the most to you. Someone who can offer you real protection and real value on car insurance. Low-cost homeowners insurance with inflation coverage. And life insurance for your individual needs. That one agent is your good neighbor's State Farm agent. The family insurance agent who can protect all the things you care about most. With one name you can trust.
If you're looking for personal service, competitive rates on your home and car, fast and efficient claims adjustments, and a friendly neighbor, check with your neighborhood State Farm agent for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to our half-hour version of those terrible twisters. You know, here at TV9, we spend a lot of time and a great deal of effort to make sure we are totally prepared for severe weather. And it takes a lot of preparation, organization, and equipment to make sure we bring you the fastest and most accurate life-saving information. The kind of severe weather coverage you come to expect here at TV9 doesn't just fall into place. It takes the right kind of people and equipment to provide you with accurate, up-to-the-minute information. Our Met Radar enables us to tell you which storms are severe, and of course a lot of other things also. Our Weather Vax, there is a scientific computer that we use during severe weather to track approaching storms. It tells us just how far the storm is from your area, if you're in the path of the storm, and what time the storm will arrive. Now, we have 2 Doppler systems, believe that or not, and they allow us to identify certain wind patterns that most likely will produce significant or severe tornadoes. And of course, Doppler radar allows us to track the path of the storm street by street here in the metro area, and Doppler radar also allows us to warn you of significant and severe tornadoes quite a bit in advance. Now, every spring I meet with the staff members to discuss the best and safest ways to track and get footage of Oklahoma twisters. Funnel cloud hanging down, the first thing you might see is dust and debris on the ground. The tornado is defined as the twisting wind on the ground, not the funnel. You can have a major tornado doing significant damage, you'll never see the funnel. Ranger 9 helps us keep on top of the tornadoes. I mean that literally. TV9 was the first television station to broadcast live footage of an actual tornado. Now, time is critical during severe weather. That's why it's important to be able to go live in a matter of seconds to warn our viewers of the approaching storm. Meanwhile, the folks in the news department, they work it out, and they have people positioned where they can see the storm and report back to us on what they see. Every photographer has a cellular phone and a 2-way radio to keep in constant contact with the station. Civil Defense and Cellular One storm spotters meet here in the spring, and we kind of brush up on the latest techniques and methods to track twisters and thunderstorms. Early detections from first-hand reports from observers in the field can save lives by aiding us in broadcasting early warnings to you folks to take precautions.
Well, you've just seen what it takes to gear up for severe weather season, but what's it like on a normal day for Gary England, and how does he put his forecast together? Right now, our Mitch Jelniker is going to take you behind the scenes with the man and his forecast.
I've wanted to do this ever since I was a little boy, since I was in 7th grade. Finally got to do it, and I love it. It is just fantastic.
But back then, Gary had no idea weather forecasting would be quite like this. The TV9 Forecast Center is a meteorologist's dream. If it helps predict what Mother Nature might do next, it's here. Take the VAX digital computer. It aids Gary in tracking storms and spotting severe weather before it hits.
Each line you see going by there is a command or a program that we can run. And you can see there are a number of them. In fact, we have more commands and more programs than we have time.
But it's radar that gives Gary the best eye on weather. He uses 3 of them, a conventional radar and 2 Doppler models. There are only a handful of stations in the country that own a Doppler system this sophisticated, and TV9 was the first.
So basically, we had the first operational Doppler radar in the world. We got that in '81, and really how I had to learn how to use it was just basically on-the-job training. And as of even today, there's no place you can go to train how to use a Doppler radar. So really, we have more experience than anyone around.
Gary's an experienced map reader as well. He has to be. He sorts through more than 200 a day.
I'm a manager of paper and computers. It seems waist deep in paper most of the time, up to my neck in computers. Okay? But it's fun. It's really fun. You know, I want to get in.
After all the data are collected and analyzed, Gary puts together his forecast. He uses a weather computer called an ArtStar. With an electronic stylus as his brush, Gary paints his maps and 5-day outlook electronically. That weather artwork is what you see on the air each night. But oddly enough, Gary doesn't see it at all. The maps are superimposed on the screen, and he has to glance at nearby monitors to make sure he's not pointing to the wrong state. Sound crazy? Gary can explain.
What you see behind me is the weather computer. But if I turn around and look at it, there's nothing there but a green board. It's magic. It's all done electronically. Whatever out here on the set that's green, the picture will show up on. Let me demonstrate this to you. Once again, we have the weather computer behind us. Give me this little green cloth. Look at this. Hey, it's magic in the big town, the best body I ever had. We do have some fun here around the seriousness, or in between the really serious periods. But coming up in just a moment, we'll take a look behind the scenes during severe weather. We'll also take a look at the Edmund tornado of May 8, 1986. So stay with us.
Wherever you run into trouble, State Farm can help with fast, efficient claim service. With thousands of full-time agents throughout the country, State Farm is a good sign you'll get personal service just about everywhere. If you want to get great claim service, get a State Farm agent.
For fast and efficient handling of your claims, see your neighborhood State Farm agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What if that apple a day doesn't keep the doctor away? Will your health insurance really help? Or will medical care costs eat it up too fast? If you want a free review of all your coverage needs, check with State Farm. To find out how healthy your health insurance really is, see a State Farm agent now.
For personal handling of your health care needs, see your neighborhood State Farm agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When severe weather strikes, you folks at home only see just a little bit of what goes on here in the Forecast Center. During weather warnings, we have people who are dedicated to do whatever it takes to provide you with instant information. Now, Barbara Wallace and Mitch Jelnecker are going to show you just a little of what it's like behind the scenes during severe weather.
Well, Gary, as you know, it takes a small army here at TV9 to keep things rolling when severe weather hits.
Sure does. We're here at the assignment desk. You might call this the nerve center of the newsroom. From here, the station can keep in contact with crews out in the field looking for what Gary England has spotted on his radar.
And to give you an idea how much manpower and how much work it takes to keep ahead of Mother Nature, let's take a look behind the scenes.
Come on, chicken, you should have been dressed a long time ago. Let's go.
This is what springtime is all about. But here in Tornado Alley, Mother Nature often has a different idea.
Get in a closet, get in a bathroom, close the bathroom, get down on the floor, cover up, put the kids in the tub, cover them up, get on top of them, but you take immediate tornado precautions.
During severe weather, the TV9 Forecast Center has all the intensity of an emergency room. Every second counts. The conditions are always changing. It takes a team of 3 meteorologists and a host of support personnel to keep ahead of Mother Nature when she turns violent.
Dick, I need to get here and do some kind of update. Okay, I'm ready and you're ready. Let's do it right now. Okay, let's quickly check radar, update you.
On this spring afternoon, Gary warns the storm may produce a tornado at any minute. Seconds later, a viewer calls in. He spotted a funnel.
You're at 44th and May, and it's southwest of you. Lester, go to the cellar. They don't have any more. He's gone to the cellar.
What Lester saw was what Gary and his team had been tracking all afternoon. Later, it touched down right in the middle of a mobile home park. Reports from the field are invaluable. Gary works with a network of nearly 300 weather spotters, a mix of police, firefighters, and civil defense directors from across the state.
This is meteorologist Gary England. Tonight, the forecast for...
Gary talks to the spotters in the field thanks to new technology called SAP, Secondary Audio Program. It enables those with receivers or televisions with the SAP feature to get additional weather updates from Gary. We also keep in constant radio or mobile phone contact with our own news crews in the field. With Gary acting as their eyes, the TV9 crews can keep out of the path of the storm and get video of the twister.
You know, it's the challenge in dealing with the weather because forecasting the weather is not easy. The results are not always too good, but it's fun dealing with Mother Nature. We don't like what the storms do, but we do love the challenge of dealing with them.
And in Oklahoma, isn't it nice to know someone meets that challenge?
On May 8, 1986, we had a significant tornado here in the metropolitan area, Edmond to be specific. And this next piece we're going to show you has a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of action, and you'll have to listen very carefully to the audio so you get a feel for what was happening on the day of that particular tornado here in the TV9 Forecast Center and in the field. We had our chase crews behind the tornado to the southeast of it. We had a photographer to the east of it, and we even had one right in front of it. Let's take a look at it.
Update of the tornado warning activity here in central Oklahoma. Let's go to radar and we'll check it out. Tornado warning continues. By the way, you're looking at Doppler radar. Tornado warning continues for Oklahoma and southern sections of Logan County. Kilo 62. Take a look at it.
10-4, how good is it? How's the flooding?
Yeah, fairground.
Thank you. It's clearing up a little bit. 10-4, you see any kind of lowering in the area of the fairgrounds at all?
Okay, directly, just slightly north of me and to the east of me, it's real black and it looks like it's getting real low.
10-4, that kind of confirms what 14's telling us south of the storm. 558 weather unit 2. 2, hang loose where you are. They'll be coming towards you, I guarantee it. Western Santa Fe, tornado on the ground.
You folks in the Edmond area, this is serious. Take your tornado precautions right now.
I got one on the ground. I'm shooting tape of.
Give me the 20 of the one on the ground, Simon.
It is just south of Edmond Road, I would say approximately Broadway Extension, maybe further west.
Tornadoes now reported on the ground at the 4600 block of West Edmond Road, 4600 block of West Edmond Road. So obviously you folks in Edmond that have not taken safety precautions should do at this time. Let's quickly check Doppler radar. And as we go to radar, we point right up in here in this particular area. It's where the tornado is.
Look at that.
Just a brief update. Damage is being reported now in Edmond, Oklahoma, just north of Oklahoma City. And that tornado possibly still on the ground. Let's go to Doppler radar very quickly. And as we look very quickly, we'll look up there. And this particular area, right over here is the center of Edmond. It comes right there in the center of the screen. As it was taped just moments ago as the tornado moved through the Edmond area. Okay, there it is, coming on down. Coming on down. Once again, this was filmed by Channel 9 crew just moments ago. I'm telling you folks who are non-believers at this point, you need to take immediate tornado precautions. Did y'all hear any sirens?
Nope. No, the only warning we had was watching you. That's the only warning we had. And, you said we had about 15 minutes. Right on the money.
Yeah, he was right on. You said about 15 minutes, and it was huge.
You know, during tornado emergencies, when we come on and issue a tornado warning and we give you the safety precautions, go to the center part of your house, lowest level, smallest room, you need to follow those instructions. I'm standing in a house here in Edmond, Oklahoma, and this is the lowest level, the smallest room, the center part, and that's basically all that's left of this structure. And the people took shelter in here and most likely saved their lives.
Gary England came over and said, hey, get to shelter, get there now. And I just do not see how we would have survived had we not done what he said when he said to do it right then. I called Mr. England today and said, thank you for saving our lives. We just would not have made it without you.
Well, obviously, that was an exciting day. Early warning. Early warning was one of the keys, and that's due to the spotters in the field, the chase teams in the field, and due to our Doppler radar here at TV9, the only radar to pick up and identify that particular tornado. Well, that piece gave you an idea of what goes on here during severe weather, behind the scenes. It goes on when severe weather is happening and even when there's a threat of severe weather. A lot of action, a lot of manpower. Well, coming up in just a moment, the crux of all of this, what you should do if a tornado threatens. Stay with us.
Insurance is puzzling sometimes. There's so many different kinds you need, but your State Farm agent can put it all together for you. Your State Farm agent not only gives you the best value in car insurance, but also low-cost coverage for your home, your boat, your business, and offers life insurance too for yourself, your spouse, and your children, as well as coverage for your health and your income. Everything fits together when all your family insurance needs are served by one person, your State Farm agent.
Just like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you're looking for personal service, competitive rates on your home and car, fast and efficient claims adjustments, and a friendly neighbor, check with your neighborhood State Farm agent for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You know, all of this fantastic weather and equipment we have here at TV9 is for you. And it's unsurpassed any place in the nation. Of course, it helps us keep you alert during severe weather. But people, there's some key people who help me on a day-to-day basis. Alan Mitchell is just one of those folks. So Alan, Gary Lezak, and myself, well, we spend some long hours here during severe weather. Would you agree with that, Alan?
I think I could testify to that fact. I believe so.
I think you could.
That's right. And you know, one thing that happens during this time of year is we start getting an awful lot of calls from folks asking questions here in the Forecast Center about strange clouds maybe they've seen. And one of the key questions we seem to always get is, what is the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning? Now, it is important that you do know the difference between them and just what it takes for conditions to be right for a tornado. Now, when a tornado watch is issued, it normally lasts for a period of, say, from 4 to 6 hours, usually covers an area of about 120 miles wide and up to about 250 miles long. And basically all we're saying here is that conditions are favorable to see a tornado develop. Doesn't always happen, but occasionally it does. And when it does, that's when we put out the tornado warning. Now, we try to be more specific with this. For one thing, it indicates either an actual tornado has been sighted, or we do have a strong indication on Doppler radar that one may be about to occur. We normally try to give the direction it's moving and what areas may be affected by it. Now, there are several different theories about how a tornado forms. This is one of them here. We start out in the afternoon with a horizontal tube of air just above the ground rotating. The sun heats the earth heats the air, and of course the faster it heats the air, the faster the air rises, a lot like in a hot air balloon. Now you can see that rising tube that was horizontal now begins to stand vertically. That's because of the updrafts and the downdrafts in the thunderstorm. You know, the updrafts may approach speeds of 100 to 200 miles an hour. Now, when the thunderstorm is building, if it were moving at you, first you would experience some light rain and maybe some small hail. But then later, as the storm begins to intensify because of a jet stream blowing across the top of it, you can expect to see some heavier rain, some larger hail. And then eventually, the vertical tube begins to rotate a little bit, and then the funnel cloud and tornado begin to develop downward from it. One thing to keep in mind, if you're ever in an area where you're getting about baseball-sized hail or larger, there's about a 50% chance that there may be a tornado right in behind it. Now, one thing that we use here at TV9, of course, is the Doppler radar. This happens to be the picture from the Edmond tornado, May 8th, 1986. Then Doppler measures wind speed and direction. Of course, we have the other radar, too. This is the Met presentation from March 28th. This was a major mesocyclone that did produce a tornado in southeast Oklahoma City.
Thanks, Alan. Well, now that we know what it takes for a tornado to form and the difference between a watch and warning, let's make sure that you know what to do in case a tornado is heading your way. Patty Suarez has some information that you and your family need to know. Patty?
Thanks, Gary. The residents hit by the tornado in Edmond May 8th of 1986 were lucky that that storm was not more serious than it was. Only a few minor injuries and some lost precious memories. And that's because they were prepared. They had advanced warning and they followed that warning. They had a plan of action. Please watch this next piece carefully and follow these important safety tips. Your family should have its own plan. Teach your children just in case you're not home.
If it comes from the Constitution, you're supposed to write a C. One. Blank was the last state to approve the Articles of Confederation. Which one was that? Robbie? Maryland. Okay, Maryland. And say number 2. Okay. This is our tornado drill. You'll need to quietly line up. Push your chairs in.
Schools follow a very precise plan of action during a tornado drill. The children are instructed to file out into the hallway and then down the stairs if their classroom is not on the ground level. Then they kneel down facing an inner wall of the building and cover their heads with their hands. They stay in that position until the all clear is given. Schools should practice tornado drills frequently so that everyone is familiar with the plan of action. And just like the schools, you should have a plan of action as well. In your home, if you don't have a storm cellar, always remember this formula: lowest level, center part, smallest room. Find that place. It might be a bathroom or a closet, and stock it with these items: blankets, pillows, a flashlight, and a battery-powered radio. When severe weather strikes, follow your plan of action. Go immediately to this pre-designated area, cover yourself and your children with a blanket or a pillow, and stay there. Wait for the all-clear signal. Now, if you live in a pre-manufactured home, you should leave immediately and go to the closest underground shelter. Never, ever try to outrun a storm in your car. Pull over and head for a drainage ditch or a ravine and keep your head down. Like Gary always says, when a tornado gets through with a car, there's no room left for you. One other area to avoid during severe weather is free-span buildings. Large shopping malls and gymnasiums, for example, are not safe places to ride out an Oklahoma tornado. Again, please remember these important safety tips. Stay alert to weather conditions. Have a plan of action. In your home, go to the lowest level, center part, smallest room. If you live in a pre-manufactured home, go to the nearest storm shelter. Never run from a storm in your car, and avoid free-span buildings.
Patty told me a while back that she always used to open her windows when there was a tornado warning. You don't have to do that. If you happen to experience a tornado, the tornado will open your windows for you, so just leave them closed, okay? Well, that basically wraps it up. I hope you've enjoyed our half-hour version of Those Terrible Twisters, and I would like to thank Alan Mitchell, Gary Lezak, Patty Suarez, Jack Bowen, Mitch Jelnecker, and Barbara Wallace for helping me out. And I hope you realize just how dangerous tornadoes can be and just what you need to do to keep your family safe. Again, we enjoyed visiting with all of you in Weatherford, Shawnee, Yukon, Elk City, and Oklahoma City when we travel to your towns. And if any of you were at those shows, watch these next shots. You might see yourself. Thank you, and stay with TV9. We'll keep you advised.
Thank you for watching Gary England and Those Terrible Twisters, brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.